DnD's reputation is awful, and I mean, we all know it. Like, it basically doesn't even really exist, right? I mean, I guess the renown system is kind of a reputation system, but like, it's barely, you know? Oh, you thought I was talking about the reputation of D&D from the public? Oh, no, I wouldn't touch that conversation with a 10-foot pole. Hey everyone, welcome to The Grit and Glory, where we learn how to improve the gaming experience. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and of course subscribe. But now, onto the video. So yeah, the D&D reputation system is awful. I mean, it's so bad, I bet most of you probably have never used it before. That's if you even heard about it. I know I played D&D for years before I even heard about it, and by that point I'd already homebrewed my own version. But what is the renown system? Well, it's basically just a number given to a faction to say how much they like the party. That's it, right? No nuance or depth, it's just a do they like you meter. What? Now that isn't terrible on its own. I mean, yes, it's basic and it could be improved tenfold quite easily, but it does the job, right? The real big problem is that it's an optional rule. So that means that it's not mechanically tied into anything else in the system, which means you could go 100 sessions of D&D, you could go 1,000 sessions of D&D and never even hear of the word renown, right? It's not great.
That's a damn shame.
Because if the rule is good, if it makes sense and it's a good part of the system, you should integrate it into the rest of the game so that it has mechanical depth and there's more nuance. Maybe you could even add abilities that interact with it. So that's exactly what we did in Grit and Glory. How exactly can you integrate reputation into the core system, right? Well, in D&D, you actually can't, but that's only because there aren't any mechanical rules for roleplay. But in Grit and Glory, there are. What do you mean rules for roleplay? Roleplay doesn't need rules, just let the players talk it out. Yes, I know what you're thinking, but these rules aren't replacing roleplay. I'm not getting rid of roleplay, we're enhancing roleplay by giving it structure, in the same way that D&D and Grit and Glory do with combat. Imagine how combat would work if it was similar to roleplay. Let's look at an example. Oh man, this is so cool. The Lich he's right around the corner, right? Yeah, I know, you guys have been preparing for this for ages. Okay, so I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna sneak around and attack the Lich. Okay, roll me a combat check. Okay, all right. It's 21. Great, yeah, you managed to kill the Lich. That would be awful, right? No tactics, no real gameplay, right? But that's the thing, that's how D&D basically handles roleplay. I mean, sure, there's a tiny bit more depth to it than that, but at its core, it's really just you convincing the GM, not your character convincing the NPC. That's why in Grit and Glory, we have implemented a social encounter system. Just like how in combat you have positioning, damage, and all of these other tactical things to take into account, roleplay should have a similar mechanical depth. This is what makes gameplay and fun and engaging and dynamic, right? And that's where reputation comes in. In Grit and Glory, we don't just have one number to track how much people like. Your reputation is broken down into 4 parts. You have likable, honorable, capable, and fearful. Each of these attributes goes from -10 to +10. And it's not just a good or bad system, it's more nuanced than that.
Looks good! Oh, it looks good!
Someone might see you as highly capable, but completely dislike you. Or they might think you're very honorable, but fear you. You might even want one of them to be low. For example, what if you want people to think you're less competent so that they underestimate you? Or you don't want people to fear you because you're just too nice for that. But the most important part about this system is the fact that it's in the core rules, which means that I've been able to integrate it with the rest of the system. We've been able to add abilities like swear on my honor, which gives you the ability to use your highly honorable reputation to increase your chances of succeeding on a bluff, on a lie, but with a cost. Or this other ability, Fearful Aura, which uses your reputation of fear to make it more difficult for creatures to oppose you when you try and get them frightened. These abilities, they just make sense, right? If you're a really terrifying person who has a fearful reputation throughout the lands, then sure, your reputation will precede you most of the time, and most people will not be able to keep themselves calm in your presence.
I like that.
And of course, there are ways to intentionally change your reputation or the reputation of others. Having a spy network or bribing guards can mean that you can spread rumors about yourself to increase your reputation in certain ways. There are obviously other actions you can take publicly. Saving the city will definitely make people think you're more likable and capable. Breaking a vow will definitely decrease how honorable people see of you. And doing favors for other people and other factions is definitely still a part of this reputation system. It's just not the whole thing. And it doesn't actually guarantee that you'll go up in all of the stats. Maybe they'll like you more, but they'll see you as more easy to manipulate, or they'll fear you less. But my favorite thing to consider is how your favor to that one faction will affect your reputation with other factions. Wow, whoa, that's way too much for the GM to track, you know? I'll just get so confusing, like, oh gosh, man, how can he remember all of that stuff? Yes, yeah, you're right. It could be a hell of a lot of work to track the reputations of all the party in all the different factions and all the 4 different attributes, and it would be a lot of work. I mean, the Grit and Glory website is going to have a tool to help you manage that when it launches, but in the meantime, I would advise just keep it simple.
Yes, definitely.
Only track the reputation of the group in the factions that you know it will matter. You don't have to care about that one gang or that one bandit group that doesn't like them very much if they're never going to see them again, or if they'll just wipe them out in that single combat. Let's look at a good use of how reputation could be used. In Game of Thrones, we see Robb Stark, King in the North. He definitely has a very likable, capable, and honorable reputation in the North. But if you go to the South, his reputation probably still capable, much less likable, maybe he's still honorable, and a hell of a lot more feared, right? He takes care of his prisoners, so people will probably see him still as honorable, but people don't like those that invade their lands, right? No matter how noble your cause. And yeah, basically everyone did see him as honorable for a good while, until... But that points out exactly how your reputation can change with even small acts can make a massive difference.
You're goddamn right.
Let's move on to Tywin. On the opposing side, basically everyone saw him as capable, and basically everyone feared him. It's like the one thing that his opponents and his followers could agree on. But likable? Definitely not. And honorable? Hell no. This is because he was such a blunt force with everyone that even his followers and his foes generally agreed on his reputation. So whereas some people's reputation might fluctuate with different factions, others might be so stern and strong that it is just the same with everyone who's ever heard of them, no matter what.
Why so serious?
But speaking of Robb and Tywin, let's talk about the rules for rulers. In D&D, you might be hired by the king, but you can never really be the king, right? Governing, ruling, commanding armies, they're just not really options for you. I mean, we could even take it smaller. Looking at running a tavern or a shop, they're just not encouraged in the core rules. But in Grit and Glory, we do encourage it. Because if you want your game to be about running a tavern or leading an army in war, why can't you do that? I mean, it's very cool, right? So we did all the work to make that necessary. We refined mass combat. But I will get into those details in another video. We added rules for running a stronghold, gathering followers and hirelings, keeping an empire or a country going. Whatever it is you can think of, from a little shop to an entire continent spanning empire, you can do it.
Oh my God! Wow!
Whilst there is a whole lot to get through with the rules for rulers, I'll focus specifically on what relates to reputation at the moment. Reputation isn't just a small social thing that will influence how you have conversation. It's a very powerful tool. With a good enough reputation, you might find yourself gathering an army or even creating a nation. Imagine with me for a second, if you were a competent and noble hero going around saving cities. Your reputation is massively increased over the years, and eventually maybe you're gifted a castle and some land, or you construct one yourself. Over time, people flock to you. They hear how you've protected other cities and they know that they'll be safe under your protection. Your capable leadership manages to make the community grow and thrive. A reputation can be used to gather followers and build up a community, but it can also be used as a shield when you mess up or when crisis hits. People are far more forgiving of those that they like, and far less likely to revolt against those that they see as more capable. But D&D is not about being a king. It's an adventure game. You have to be an adventurer, man. You shouldn't be a king. That's not fair. Look, if you want to be an adventurer, go ahead. This isn't saying you can't do that. This is just another option. And yes, you're right. In D&D, that is an adventure game. But Grit and Glory isn't. Grit and Glory is a tabletop role-playing game. The job of the system is to facilitate any fantasy role you want to play. And if that fantasy role is to be a king or an emperor, then why not? It's cool. Well, you're basically just saying we should elevate one player above the rest. Like, if he's a king and they're all just like peasants and stuff, that's totally unfair, man. Everyone's gonna feel like it's favoritism, you know? Is true, but that is true for anything in the game. If you give one character all the magic items and don't give any to any of the others, they're gonna feel left out, right? So we're not advocating that you pick one person to be the emperor and everyone else is a soldier in their army. You could make them all courtiers. Maybe no one's the emperor, maybe they're all commanding an army together or commanding their own factions that are united in an alliance. The point of these rules and the point of every rule in Grit and Glory is never to force you into a pigeonhole. If you want to go and be an adventurer, you can, but these rules just open up the door to allow you to lead those legions that you've been dreaming about.
Yeah, boy.
Plus, even if none of the players are leading armies, these tools are great for GMs, speaking from personal experience. How many times have you had wars or even just large battles going on in the background of the story, or even right behind where the players are fighting the BBEG? These rules are really helpful for managing all of that, because at the end of the day, that's what we designed Grit and Glory for. It's basically a big toolbox with different tools for different situations, and maybe this tool stays in the box for now, but don't worry, that's okay. It's there when you need it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, check out the website in the description below where you'll find details about the Kickstarter that's going live in September, so make sure to back it. And in the meantime, you can check out my Patreon for more exclusive content, or for YouTube content, you can look here.